Steve in Phoenix.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. My question is I saw a YouTube video where Matt was making the claim that God is immoral. And it was based on some commands that he had in the Old Testament where he commanded the Israelites to take slaves.
Okay.
But I don't think we can call God immoral, because our standards of morality, human standards of morality, are just that, human. We don't apply them to anything else. God is not human. Therefore, we cannot apply our standards of morality to God.
Oh, I see. So can we call God moral?
I don't think we can call God anything.
Oh, okay. Well, then we should just ignore whatever God says as commands to people and get on with our lives without that.
No.
No?
Okay.
No. That's not the same, you see.
It's not?
All right, go ahead, explain it.
God commands us to do things.
Okay.
Okay?
Allegedly, in the book. Yeah, go on.
Well, we're assuming these things, okay?
All right.
But God's commands are not immoral. Okay? Just because we find them immoral does not make God's commands immoral.
Do you believe in Satan?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Satan's commands are immoral?
I don't know what Satan's commands are. Satan doesn't give us commands that I'm aware of.
If Satan gave a command, would you follow it?
No.
Why not?
Why not? Because he's not God.
Okay. Let's do this. What if an angel came down to you and gave you a command, and then later in that day, another angel came and said, "Hey, that previous angel was actually an agent of Satan. Don't do that thing." What would you do? How would you figure out?
Well, you're getting kind of crazy, I think.
Well, I mean, Satan is known for being a deceiver, right? So how would you know?
Oh, yes. How would I know?
Yeah.
Well, because if we're gonna stick to biblical principles, every time that God gives a command, it's backed up with proof. Isn't it? There are miracles provided. There are things that are provided to the person that lets them know unequivocally that it's from God and not from Satan.
So if an angel or if Satan comes down and does a magic trick for you, does that mean that that is proof that his commands are good?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're missing the whole point. Satan not going.
Yes, you're right.
You're telling me that you're giving me examples of things that cannot happen according to the Bible.
How do you know?
Well, how do you know that Satan didn't write that part so that you wouldn't expect it?
Well, okay. No. Okay. Okay. Well, there is a little bit of faith involved.
There's a little bit, huh?
There is faith.
Well, yeah, but that's how Satan can get in, right?
Okay, but see, we're getting off topic here.
Well,
I think.
I mean, you're saying that commands, though we can't judge the morality of commands that come from God, but we can.
That's right.
Judge the morality of commands that come from Satan. But then, how do you know which command?
There are no commands that come from Satan.
Well, you don't know that.
Didn't Satan tell Eve to eat an apple?
Yeah.
Or a fruit, excuse me.
Did he not tell? No, he didn't tell her to eat it. He lied to her and told her that she was wrong. That she would not die.
So actually, she didn't die.
He offered Jesus the whole world.
Whoa, hold on.
And said, "Follow me."
She didn't die, but she did die.
No, she didn't die that day.
Oh, well, that wasn't what God said.
Yeah, it is, actually.
No, it's not. No,
the day that you eat of it, you shall die. Do I have to look it up?
No. I understand exactly. And if you read it, it says you will die. If you eat this, you will die. It doesn't say you will die right then. He says you will die.
It says that day, dude, but we are getting off topic.
Yes, we are. Okay.
So
we are getting off topic.
So,
I think
Lynnea,
Satan caused you
go
to
with this.
forget that.
All right, hold on. Let me back up here. Let me lay the premise, okay? The premise is that human standards of morality are applied only to human beings, okay? God is not a human. Therefore, we cannot apply human standards of morality to God.
Cool. So we can't say that God's commands are moral.
Well, Satan is not a human either.
No.
Can you
God's
apply your
commands are not,
laws of morality to Satan?
God's commands are not based on morality.
Right. Are Satan's commands based on morality?
God does not give us commands based on whether they're moral or not. They're commands from God to be done because they're from God, period.
Well, why do you do them then?
That they're moral. Why do I do them?
Yeah. If they're not moral and he is so far above it, I mean, are you just like a dolphin?
I don't find any commands that go against my moral conscience. Now, if you want to say that, the commands that God gave the Israelites in the Old Testament were immoral, and by all standards of today, by what we recognize as immoral today, slavery is absolutely wrong. The command seems immoral, but
I'm confused why you would do it. Like, are you like a dolphin who's jumping through hoops at SeaWorld? Like, why are you doing this command?
Why no? I'm not a dolphin jumping through the hoops.
Hey, Steve, I need to read you. I'm sorry, Steve.
He wants to prove he's right.
I need to read you from Genesis, Steve. Steve, do I have to put you on hold?
God commands that you don't speak over other people.
I need to read to you Genesis 2:17 from the King James version. It says, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die."
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did say that day.
No, he said that the day that you eat of it, you will die.
And she ate it and didn't die that day.
He didn't say you will die immediately.
All right, so God is a very cunning linguist, let's say.
That sounds like the kind of monkey's paw setup that Satan would make.
You're confusing it. You see, he said that the day
that
you eat.
It's not my fault that God's not a better writer.
Well, it's just plain. So you're reading into it something that's not saying. You see.
I don't think so.
That's all it is you're reading into it something that it doesn't say.
I think you're right, honey. We can move on, though.
That's very sweet. But, I mean, it sounds to me like you're telling me that I and Lynnea can't judge the moral content of God's commands, but you're also saying at the same time that you can judge the moral content of those commands, because you're telling me that you know it's okay to follow those commands because nothing that God has commanded conflicts with your personal sense of right and wrong. So why is that your personal sense of right and wrong seems to be the determining factor, but we're not allowed to use ours?
No. The Bible, none of the commands in the Bible conflict with standards of morality. They're not
like slavery.
Huh?
Like slavery. You're cool with slavery.
No, I'm not cool.
Well,
with
then
slavery.
they do.
No, because I'm not commanded to have slaves. God does not command me to
but
have
you're cool
slaves.
with other people having slaves.
If you got in a time machine.
No, I'm not.
You got back.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, but if an angel came down,
wait a minute. And he asked a question, and I'm trying to answer it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He asked me if I think it's okay for other people to have slaves, and I'm telling you no. And I'm telling you that in the Old Testament, where God commanded the Israelites to take slaves, that was a situational. That was for the Israelites against those people that he commanded to take against. It's not, and you can twist it. People do. People take the Bible and they say, look, God said it was okay for them, it must be okay for me. That's not the way it's done. That's not the way it is.
Didn't you just say that nothing God ever commands conflicts with our understanding of right and wrong?
That's right.
Okay, well,
Okay,
so I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, but I think if I had infinite power, I could come up with a better way of dealing with people who are maybe being jerks than saying, you guys are all slaves.
All right, so then you're just complaining about, so now you're complaining about the way God teaches people.
Well,
no,
yeah,
I'm complaining about the actual morality of the commands he makes.
If your lesson is go take slaves, then yeah, I'm complaining about that teaching.
Okay.
If I were back then, I would assume that was a command from Satan, and maybe not from God. So I'm wondering how you could tell the difference.
How could I tell it? Well, if somebody commanded me, if I was commanded to take slaves, then I would have a real problem with that.
Well, good.
Okay, I would think that was from Satan. Okay?
I'm glad that your moral compass is intact, despite what it says in the Bible.
Yeah, we agree.
I'm
we would
having
not do that.
I'm having a hard time hearing him. You're really loud. Well, what is your name? Are you Tracy?
Oh, I'm Lynnea. I am substitute hosting.
Okay. Well, and Russell's the other one, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, there you go. I was having a hard time hearing you. You're like in the background.
I don't know why that is.
Okay, but I lost track of where we were at here. Okay.
Satan confounds. Go on.
Look.
Well,
God, we cannot place human standards of morality on God. Okay, simply because he's not a human being. Okay, God is neither moral nor immoral.
Okay, so what does he need? Why does he need us to follow his commandments then?
He doesn't need us to.
Then why does he want us to?
Well, because it says because he loves you.
That sounds like we're getting back to dolphin clicking, dolphin hoop jumping.
Why?
I mean, like jump through the hoops and you get a fish.
Well, why else would he want us to follow him?
I don't know. You're the one who believes in God. I don't think it's up to us to come up with the motives of this guy that we don't believe in at all.
What I'm telling you is it's because he loves us.
I think it kind of just doesn't make sense.
Whether it makes sense or not is irrelevant to the question at hand, is it?
And that's kind of the fundamental problem, I think, that it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's just a thing you do because someone said to do it, and it's not good or bad. It's just a thing. But you listen to the one guy telling you to do things, but you don't listen to the other guy telling you to do things. And there's no real way to tell the difference. And it's all kind of whatever.
Yeah, okay. Well, it still doesn't. That's what I'm saying. We're not even addressing the actual question that I had. Is it? I mean, we seem to be going all around it. Is God immoral?
Well, you started out by saying, by picking up something Matt said, and neither of us are Matt, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I would also say that it's immoral to command slavery.
He claims that he relayed the claim in the video that God was immoral.
Yeah.
And he used those scriptures to lay that claim.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm saying that you can't do that.
Why not?
I say you can.
Why?
Why not?
Why not? Well, is morality universal?
Is morality universal? That is a complicated question for philosophers.
I would say it's pretty much universal, but the specific universality is very complicated.
Then why do we not apply morality to the animal kingdom? If it's universal and it applies to everything.
We have animal cruelty laws. Do you think those should be abolished?
No. You're applying moral. I'm talking about when a man saying that morality is universal is not the same as saying that it applies the same way on every level. Like, for instance, it would be bad of me to punch Lynnea
it would not be bad of me to punch this stuffed cow, because that cow does not have the same level of awareness as Lynnea or any level of awareness. Now, I'm totally aware that there are a lot of atheists watching right now who are very, very serious about animal rights, and I think that there are some legitimate arguments to be had about whether animals should be treated with the same courtesy and consideration as you treat people. And I think those are complex. But ultimately, I think that the conclusion that you come to on those questions come down to a matter of whether they are consistent with the values that we are generally trying to uphold, like not causing unnecessary suffering to sentience and how you define sentience. And those are issues where there may be legitimate disagreements. But those absolutely are the gray areas of the morality discussions. And I think that the question of whether you're allowed to have a slave that you're allowed to beat as long as he doesn't die within one day is a lot farther from that gray area.
You missed the whole point of that, didn't you?
You keep saying that.
You're saying that.
But then you keep bringing it down to your faith again, which we don't share.
Okay, I asked you a question. If morality, if you were going to argue that morality was universal, let me clarify that. Do we apply our standards of morality? If we're going to apply our standards of morality to God, who's not a human being, then and God is those standards are applicable to God, and they must be applicable to everything. Okay.
So if God decided tomorrow that all of us should be murdered, you would say that that's perfectly fine. Like suppose he did say that there was another great flood that would wipe out all humanity.
Hold on. We don't even have to do that.
Okay,
we don't even have to do that.
All right.
What if God said that Russell and I should be tortured? We should, have our kneecaps busted, acid thrown in our face, tongue cut out. Would you say what?
You're getting way off here.
No, that is a canonical part of Christian dogma if you believe that hell is true. That's a thing right now that Christians think will happen to Russell and I as soon as we die. But if there's a meteor that hits us right now, we are being tortured.
And I'm telling you that my understanding of the Bible is I don't know what's going to happen to you. I can't say what's going to happen to you.
Well, God told you, unless you think that part was written by Satan.
God does not tell me how he's going to judge you. He doesn't tell me how
I'm saying right now, I don't believe in God. I reject Jesus. I'm going straight to hell.
Then all I can say, you are. Well, then by your own admission then. Not me.
According to your story.
According to that story, God is going to put me in a situation where I am being tortured.
God is going to judge every person according to their deeds, both good and bad. Okay? That's what it says. Okay? That's how we're going to be judged.
And you agree with his ultimate judgments about whether people are being good or bad.
God's understanding is greater than mine, yes.
So you judge God's point of view to be moral?
No.
No?
Well, let me put it this way.
So you don't know whether God's judgments are moral or immoral?
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Okay? I'm going to answer that question. And I'm going to say that in the spiritual realm, which is where God is, the moral judgments will be moral. Yes, they will.
So you judge that to be moral? Yes.
Spiritual morals are different than human morals.
Okay. So could spiritual morals be immoral by human standards?
They very well could be.
Okay. Well, that's all we're saying.
Yeah. So, I think what you're saying is that it's cool if a tiger mauls someone and you bring the tiger into a human trial and you say, hey, tiger, you mauled someone, but we're higher beings than you. We're judging you by our standards. I guess you're locked up in
That's what you're
prison
saying.
forever.
That's exactly what you're doing.
Well, isn't that what God's
See?
doing by choosing heaven or hell?
We won't be humans, will we, when we're judged?
But we're
I
being
don't know,
judged
that's your
on
story.
the human things that we did when we were humans, right?
Ah, yes, and it won't be based on whether or not we meet the spiritual morality, will it? It's going to be based on what we do here, how we act here.
I think you need to try asking Satan what his ideas are, and compare it to what God says.
If he shows up one day, I might do that.
Okay, well, let us know if that happens.
Yeah,
We're going to move on to other callers.
Tell us what he or she says.
Okay.
All right. Nice talking to you.
All right.